Welcome everybody to the Watchlist, your virtual TV guide. Every week we go over, review all the top shows that get released on streaming across all platforms. We got a full show today, so I'm ready to get to it. My name is Jose, and I'll introduce, of course, my other co-host, the TV guru, the man who resides in a small town named Houston, of course, the ambassador of love, Senor Jaime. Chewy, how you doing?
Yo, what is up, bro? What's going on, man?
Ready to get to this, man? We got a packed show, actually. It's about eight
You think
things,
so?
eight
Oh, okay.
shows and movies to go over. So that's a
Yeah.
lot. So I'm not saying they were all good because they were not.
No, there was a couple of
There's a
like
couple,
real
yes, a couple
stinkers.
stinkers, but there was some good stuff in there. Of course, we got Disney Plus involved. We got Hulu, which I don't think we've done Hulu yet.
Mm,
CW, we got a little bit out today, which a rare discussion
a rare sighting.
on a cable regular network show. Disney,
Network
yeah.
TV.
So what are that HBO Max? So we'll cover all the ground here, but we want to go start with kind of a circle back on the show, which we at the time I think we both recommended. It was a Netflix show called Hit and Run, which was an Israeli
Mm,
show. It's about a guy in ex special forces. He's a tour guide, and his wife gets killed in a hit and run accident. Of course, it's not really a hit and run accident, so he digs deep into the rabbit hole and find out the conspiracy behind her death, etc., etc. I kind of,
the Mossad,
yeah, I
the
kind of referred
CIA.
it to a Liam Neeson film, but in TV form, I guess the best way to describe it. And
Good luck.
I think we were both halfway through it because I want to circle back because sometimes shows don't end well. And I gave it a mild recommendation last week, and I'm sticking there. Like the ending, the last three episodes didn't bring it down, but I didn't elevate it either. And I wasn't sure this was a limited series. It's not. There's a season two. Well, it's set up for a season two, but I don't know how interested I am in that. Chewy, your thoughts?
I have one more episode to go,
Okay.
but I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I did at the beginning. And it's one of these. I guess it's classified as a thriller, international thriller,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So it involves CIA shenanigans. It involves the Israeli Mossad, secrets, lies. A lot of action, not good. I mean, a lot of action. This show, relatively. I mean, it's not Marvel action, but it's a lot of hand fighting,
Sure. I
shootouts, and
mean, yeah.
whatnot
I
and
mean,
stuff. You know,
yeah. It's mild
car
action. Yes.
chases.
This
Yeah,
isn't John Wick or anything like that, but
yeah, no.
but
Well, John Wick is like exaggerated action. This is a little bit more
that's
grounded action.
awesome. First of all, uh,
But I enjoyed it because it's kind of like a who done it and he's trying to uncover the mystery in real time as
right.
we're uncovering the different clues and what's truth and what isn't. And so, I like that aspect of it and I found it entertaining. I'm not sure if it's a must watch, but I think it's
No.
pretty close up there. I mean, like I said,
It for me,
you know,
it's good filler. It's a good show to watch if you got time. Like I said, I don't know if season two is necessary. When you see the end, you know what I'm talking about. This show probably
okay,
should have ended on whatever episode eight. I think it's eight episodes,
nine.
or nine, give it 10, whatever. But what I mean, I guess it's good enough where I'll catch the next season if there is one. But I'm not excited about it. It's a mild recommendation for me at the end of the day. So I guess it didn't end badly. It just kind of stayed the course, but it just didn't elevate like I wanted to. That's all. Another one of which I don't think you saw it too. Maybe you did. It's a documentary. I know. Yeah, there are allergies. A documentary out there. I get it. But one that came out was actually premiered in Sundance early in the year, and that's called Misha and the Wolves. I'm not sure if you saw that or not.
No, no,
Yeah,
no, no.
it's an interesting story. It's a true story. Based on what is a true story, obviously true account, it's a documentary,
Mhm.
and it's about a woman who claims she was a Holocaust survivor, and when she was young, her parents taken away. She was taken to a foster home for protection from the Nazis, and but she ran away. She wanted to search for her parents. Ended up in the middle of the woods, traversing through Germany and other countries, and I guess she was followed by these wolves, like a family of wolves that kind of helped her out or whatever the case is. And her story kind of got leaked out when she was a lot older. And this publicist saw the opportunity to, do a memoirs about it. They came to an agreement. She was supposed to go on Oprah, so it was a pretty big deal. And then they kind of had a fallout before the Oprah thing. She didn't want to go. And the woman actually ended up suing the publicist, and eventually went with somebody else in Europe. She was in all these talk shows over there. They had a movie about her life and all that. So, but then the publicist realizes that she when she loses the lawsuit, she digs a little deeper, and with the help of some journalists and other prior Holocaust survivors, they actually dig up that potentially this whole thing is nonsense. That she was actually fabricating the whole story, and it goes into all that, a lot of
Shenanigans.
shenanigans. So it's an interesting tell. It's not a bad documentary. I enjoyed it. I mean, it's not up there with like Coke and Cowboys or the heist. Me too. We love those. A couple weeks ago, we talked about each one of those shows, but it's a solid documentary. It's well done. It's a really cool story. It's fascinating how the way they kind of dig, how deep they have to dig to find out the truth about this woman, whether she is a Holocaust survivor or not. So interesting, fascinating stories. I kind of enjoy. I do recommend that one. My recommendation for those who are not allergic to documentaries, of course. But that being said, let's talk about the next big movie release that came out on Netflix, and this is one I don't think we're looking forward to it particularly, but either way, it does star John David Washington, and that is Beckett on Netflix. Should we set us up here about Beckett?
Um, I can't do it. I can't recommend it. I don't know if there's anything worse than that.
I
I
mean,
was utterly and disgustingly like 20 minutes in. I'm like, that's it. I'm out. I mean, I think I gave it 25 minutes, and it was just the beginning was slow, very
mhm.
slow, very meandering. Once they get into an accident in Greece, I guess they're on vacation. And all of a sudden, he wakes up and try to put together what happened, and the police are investigating. He goes back to the house, and all of a sudden, the police are after him. It's just an utter mess. I don't know who greenlit this, who wrote this. I don't know what they were thinking, but this is not a good movie. Do not waste your time with this movie,
I
please.
completely disagree. This was not a mess. This was a disaster over a film here. I mean, look, and I like John David Washington. We
Yes,
both
I
love him in
loved him in
Tenet.
Tenet, man. I loved him in Ballers, man.
Black
So,
Klansman, he's great in that as
but
well. So
yeah,
he's up
man.
and coming, right? Obviously, we know his father, Denzel. And man, God, this was terrible. I actually finished watching the whole thing.
Wow,
I don't know why I
sorry.
was already in. I nothing.
I'm so
This is the
sorry.
last thing I had to watch for the weekend. I was like, let me just get through it. Maybe I don't know whatever. But this director, is a Italian director, this looked like a student film, and
Scusi, scusi.
excuse me, and this the first 25 minutes they are slow, but that's probably the best part of the film. That's how,
Wow.
right. So
I'm glad I stopped.
no, I mean, and he's got the ingredients. He got John David Washington, Alicia Vikander, and she's in the first 25 minutes. Who's an Oscar nominated? She's an Oscar winning actress for Christ's sake. John Holbrook, of course, from Logan and other things. And damn, it's just God. And you missed it, like the last half of the film. The editing is awful. The action scenes are so amateurish. And he must just be holding like an iPhone, just doing that on TikTok. Is that it was it was really bad.
TikTok.
Stay away from this film. I mean, Netflix. Again, they're so inconsistent, and this is the bad version of Netflix. It's no good. Stay away at
This
all
is bad
costs. Yeah,
Netflix.
it's
Next.
very bad. So let's
Yet.
move on from there. Let's move on to Hulu. I know we do a lot of Netflix because Netflix does put out the most content, but Hulu came out with a show this week called Reservation Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
This one, of course, is actually co-written by Taika Waititi, who I love. Obviously, the director
Take
of
a
Jojo Rabbit, fantastic movie. Thor, love Thor.
Thor
Ragnarok
Ragnarok.
is great. What We Do in the Shadows, really underrated, funny show. Who got renewed for a fourth season, and haven't even showed the third season yet. That shows the confidence in their show. So I'm interested. Taika's writing it. I'm all over it. So this one, it's about a bunch of kids, four kids. They're not a gang, but they're together. They obviously up to shenanigans. They're trying to, earn money or steal money or whatever the case is, so they can move to California and get off the Indian reservation that they live in. It's a kind of
Yeah, yeah.
dead
These
end
are
little
for a
dead
Native
end spot.
American
Yeah,
use, right? High school use, I would assume.
yeah.
And somewhere in some Bohogan town in Oklahoma. I'm
Right.
not sure if it's on a reservation or not.
I thought it was,
I don't
yeah.
get that sense that it's on a reservation. But I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think but whatever. I don't know. Either way, there's a lot of Indian representation, Native American representation in the show, obviously,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So whether it's a true reservation or not, it obviously the contingent of community is Native American, right? At least where they live. So I'll let you go first, Tree. There's a couple episodes dropped on Hulu. I think this one drops every Monday. So what you thought about the first two?
Yeah, there's been 3 episodes so far.
Three. I'm
Actually,
sorry.
they
Yeah, the
dropped
first two.
two
Yeah.
the premiere and then one this past Monday. I'm actually enjoying it. It's got some very interesting elements. Obviously, the four main characters I have kind of connecting with as far as their struggles and trying and understanding why they want to leave but they're stuck in this nowhere place really, right.
Hmm.
Um and, and, and so it's got its funny moments. It's got a little levity. It's got some serious issues that it's undertaken as well, and so I'm enjoying it. I think overall it's a very very good show by any streaming standard, right? Not just because it's Hulu.
Right. Yeah, I agree. It's good. I mean, it's not great, but it's good. It's a solid show, and you can every so often sense the Taika touch in there, particularly with the humor. So if you're a fan of him, I for sure you
I
should
mean,
watch it.
well, I
But
mean, let's touch on that because there's these dream sequences, right, where this main character, one of the main kids, gets beat down because there's just rival kids that come in and think that they're forming a gang, right? And so he gets beat down first time, and he wakes up, but he's not working. He's actually dreaming, and there's I guess, an Indian on a horse, right? That's like his life guide, his mentor, whatever. And that part of it is hilarious.
yeah, that's Taika in a platter right there, without question. It's like I said, it has this moment. I don't think. I mean, it's early, obviously 3 episodes. I mean, again, this could elevate. Like we talked about Hit and Run. Let's see how it
Hmm.
ends. But it's a solid show. I'm with you. I recommend it. It's definitely a good watch. It's almost. I'm not gonna say it's must watch, but it's good, strong filler for now. And I think you guys should give it a shot. I don't think it'd be for everybody because even Taika's humor is not for everybody, and I get that. But it's good, and it's something a little bit different. We don't see this kind of show on any other streaming service, so it's something unique. I think you should definitely gravitate to. So, yeah, I think we're both in agreement. You guys should watch this one, if nothing else. Another one here, and this is a big one. So let's go Disney Plus here, and we got the first episode for Marvel's What If, their kind of first venture into the animated world, animated series anyway. And I mean, I'll do this one first. So the first episode focuses on Agent Carter. In this case, when she becomes Captain Carter. So obviously, What If series is basically taking a situation that we've seen before in the Marvel Universe and giving it a spin. In this case, right before Steve Rogers takes the serum, something occurs, and she volunteers to take the serum. So she becomes, the super soldier, if you will. And it kind of follows some of the same beats as the original first Avenger did in Captain America, anyway. So, I was just curious about this one. The Marvel's done fairly well with the shows. I think this one it's only one episode, so but for what it was okay. Like, I wasn't blown away. It was fine. I thought it was too status quo, and I meaning that, the real change was the fact that they just swapped Steve Rogers for Agent Carter, right? The majority, for the most part, the story kind of follow what we've seen already, and I kind of want to see the show venture out to really give us a what if scenario. That being said, I still recommend it, and I think the show will do that in the coming episodes. I know we got zombies coming up. I know the next one is about T'Challa being captured by the guard. What's Yondu instead of Star Lord. So
Yandu.
yeah, I think that one really veers off the reservations, that's what I want to see. So Chew, you saw the first episode. What do you think about this one?
I enjoyed it actually. I mean, I guess it was like a condensed movie. It had a feel, right? Because they kind of jump right into the action. So think about the first Avenger and cut out the filler, and this is what you're left with, right?
Right.
And but they changed, and obviously with the narration of Jeffrey Wright, which obviously he's up there with the likes of Morgan Freeman,
Oh yeah,
right? And these
his
voices you can just listen to all day long.
that
Like,
in
read me a book.
yeah
Read me a book, Jeffrey. I'll listen.
the indistinguishable the voice is so
Yeah.
distinguished. You just know who he is. Yeah, absolutely. He can
Yeah.
he can read the alphabet. I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Like,
A B, yeah. Um,
and but the focus, as always, in introduction, so the focus is if one thing changed, right? And obviously we're dealing with a multiverse, right?
right.
Because that one change, obviously, yes, led to Peggy Carter, but then obviously kind of completely rewrote the story of Red Skull, and obviously where she comes up, and so if you've seen the original Avengers movie, and where they bring in Loki using the Tesseract, and this is a scene where we have Samuel Jackson's character and Renner Hawkeye there, and they bring back Agent Carter at that very moment, right? So it was a lot of things changing, and continue to diverge from there. But like I said, it was interesting. It was fun. I enjoyed it. It's quick, right? 35 minutes
Yeah,
tops, I
probably
think,
30.
if that long.
There's
Yeah.
35-minute credits, so it's probably like a minute long. Um,
Well, this doesn't have Loki size credits, so let's give it 32. Let's give it 32.
WandaVision credits.
Yeah.
God, I don't know. It's like a 20-minute show with a 3-hour credit. I don't
Yeah.
understand that, but
But I enjoyed it because I like how they brought back most of the original actors to do the
right, yeah,
voiceovers
not all of them,
under his
obviously.
characters. So Dominic, I can't remember his last name. He does guys Howard Stark.
Mm.
They had obviously Peggy Carter. Agent Rogers was not. Oh, no, not Agent. I'm sorry, Captain Rogers was not. It was voiced by a different
Yeah,
actor.
it was not Chris Evans. I don't think. Yeah.
Yeah, that was not Chris Evans. I kind of wondered about that, but most of the ones were the original actors they brought in, even for small piece. They still brought him back and just the voiceover and stuff. So it was pretty interesting. I liked it.
Yeah, I guess it's a solid start. The animation is interesting. You know,
Mm-hmm.
seems more cell shaded, but it's unique and it works.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's good. It's solid. And as I said, it didn't blow me away. But I think it is going to be. I mean, I talked before where any anthology kind of series, you always have the ones that kind of stand out. You got a good chunk, which is just fine, and a couple of, goose eggs in there. So I think this would probably follow the same suit, right? Most
Yeah.
anthologies are like that. But it's good enough to watch. I put in the must watch because it's Marvel. Who we're kidding, right? I mean, you're a Marvel fan,
We'll watch it.
yeah,
We'll
you're gonna
watch
have
it.
to watch it. I mean, at the end of the day,
Stop it.
and I assume it's gonna tie into a lot of stuff they're doing, multiverse and et cetera, et cetera. So,
Maybe,
yeah,
maybe.
why would you not watch it,
This
right?
could be standalone, but it
Right,
expands on the Loki show a little bit as far as what was happening at
right,
the end, and obviously, now we have like unlimited possibilities.
right. I
So
did hear Agent Carter is supposed to pop up, well, Captain Carter in future MCU movies. That's what I heard. For whatever that's worth, not sure it's true or
yeah,
not.
yeah.
But so there's some kind of tie-in with that. So yeah, definitely check it out. Let's get back to Netflix here. This is one that you had mentioned before. Look out for at the beginning of the month. El Reino, or The Kingdom in English. Of course, this was an Argentinian show. It's kind of a political, religious
Religious.
corruption kind of story. And
Think
listen,
attempt.
you mix
Think of
politics and religion, and
yeah.
both they're both corrupt. So sometimes it's better just to give us one or the other, not both at the same time. And
Think TV evangelist is what it
right,
akin to.
exactly. And yeah, we know the stories behind the evangelism, some of the
Hmm.
questionable tactics and all that. But now you're throwing the political intrigue and all that. So behind the scenes, black alley, dark alley treaties and etc. So this one here, I mean, I give every show 3 episodes. That's usually the rule of thumb, right? To see it needs to grab me. And listen, I love my Argentinian people, I love my arroz con pollo, veludo, all that good stuff. But
Churrascos.
churrascos, of course. But this one, it just didn't do it for me, man. It's well produced,
Nah,
it's well done, but
I
I was
was
just bored.
bored.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
I
just
was
like,
bored.
yeah, 3 episodes, I was out. I mean, like I said, not that it's badly made or anything. Like that. Some people may enjoy this, but honestly, there's no one to root for. You know what I'm saying? There's no character
Yeah.
to latch on to. The story isn't that interesting. Yeah, I know this is a big popular show in Argentina. Uh, Great, good for them, but it doesn't
Not here.
work here. It just didn't work, and disappointing because we like the foreign shows. And there's a lot of good ones out there, right? A lot of good ones,
Yeah.
but this is not one of them. Like I said, not a terrible show.
No.
It's just
No.
an uninteresting one too. Yeah, you're obviously agreeing with that.
No, I was bored. I mean, not as bored as I was with Beckett, but I gave it a few episodes and I was like, I spent more time on my phone and then paying attention to what was going on.
Right, and that's not a good thing, right? So,
No.
and if for us, we understand the Spanish, but if you're watching the subtitles, you're forced to watch it, which I get. Yeah, if you got to be on your phone, you're definitely not gonna be following on the show anyway. So, not a good show. So
No.
yeah, let's move on from that. So don't recommend it. Don't waste your time on that. To be perfectly honest, another one which I don't watch. I
Perfect.
know you do, Chewy. So that you talked about it. Season one dropped on DC app now Stargirl. Now it's on to the CW, which really raises the red flags. But I'm not a fan of the show. Like, I'm not a fan. Just didn't really get into it. You are Chewy. Season two kicked off on CW. Did you like it? And notice any differences in tone between DC app and the CW?
Well, man, no, I like that. I think the Man Beast, Miguel Rosa, as we affectionately call him, I think was a big fan of the show as well. Hopefully, he'll join us one of these days once he's settled in
Yeah, yeah,
Cincinnati.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, I think I think the production luckily has not changed. I mean, that was my concern of going from HBO to CW, that there'd be a change in the budget and change in the look and feel. And so far, it's only one episode, so you
Sure.
never know,
Hmm.
right? But so far, so good. It's one of these. It's one of these. It's not as heavy as Titans, right, or as dark as Titans. Because obviously it's dealing with more high school aged heroes, right?
Right.
And obviously I'm not big at, if Eric the Silver would say, he'd probably give you the whole lore of the comics and everything. I'm not here to do that because I have no idea about these comics or these characters. I know some of them because they're still part of the DC universe, right?
Hmm.
And I think the good thing is I think this one is bringing in the daughter of Green Lantern. So obviously it touches on some of the heroes and characters within the DC universe. But these villains, I mean, these are they're not the Joker, right? These
Right.
are these villains of this little town and whatnot. Actually, I take that back. There's a Solomon Grundy, which is kind of cool,
Oh,
right?
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah,
That
he's in
takes
there.
you
Yeah,
way back.
Solomon
If you for
Grundy.
those
Yeah,
the
I was
Justice
like,
League animated were like way
yeah,
back in the day.
exactly,
We're dating ourselves here, but
exactly.
whatever.
So you see, so it brings in some of the elements of the universe that I'm aware of, right? But I'm not deep in the comics. But again, that aside, it was a good start. I like season one. This is starting the same, bringing in new villains, new situations, and let's see where it goes. It's just an early start, but the production value was the same as it was in season one, so that was my biggest fear.
Okay. And my big takeaway from the show that I haven't seen it is that the great Luke Wilson gets to eat again. I think he's
Yes.
in it, so I like Luke Wilson. He's no Owen Wilson, obviously, but what the hell, man? All the
Who is?
Wilson
Yeah.
family got to eat, so good for him. So congratulations to
No,
him.
but he was great in old school. I mean, it's
Oh, he had his day, but it's been a
earmuffs,
while since he's
earmuffs.
been. I can name right. His brother takes all the glory, which
I mean, he
whatever.
he wasn't going streaking through the quad or
No,
anything,
no, no,
but
no. They need the Franklin Tank sequel him together. Um, awesome, old school. So, and speaking of things awesome, our next show is the quite the opposite of that. I don't, Chewy. I know you didn't see this one. Well,
okay.
if you do, I'll be surprised. But this one was on
Right.
Netflix, a limited series called Brand New Cherry Flavor, which got a lot of buzz, so it got
No.
me interested. Joe, you didn't see it, did you? I
Mm-mm.
didn't think so.
Not
Right. This
interested.
was kind of built like a mystery horror thing, which is up my alley, right? I love me some good horror. You know that, Chewy. And basically, we have here Rosa Salazar. She's part Ecuadorian, so Peruvian. Either way, Latina, so we love that. She was a lead of Battle Angel, from in that movie a couple of years back.
Ah, okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right. Yeah,
yeah,
yes, yes,
exactly.
yes.
So she's
I
up and
remember.
coming for whatever it's worth. And this one, she's a very young, she's an aspiring director. She's been like a little independent film. She moved to LA, to obviously pursue her dreams, and this takes place in the '90s. And a famous producer reaches out to her, wants to, get her film, make her film, and put her behind the camera, right? Give her her first opportunity in Hollywood. He ends up sending her out. There's a little Harvey Weinstein thing, you know what I'm saying? Back in the '90s, that was a
Mm.
big deal. If y'all know about Harvey Weinstein, what happened back in Hollywood back in the day. And she, obviously she's distraught, wants to take revenge, and runs into this, I want to say witch, for lack of a better word, and who gets her to put a curse on the producer to ruin his life. Okay, sounds fairly interesting enough, but dude, this show is fucking weird. That's the best way to put it. It's. I heard the term Twin Peaks been thrown out there. If you guys are familiar with Twin Peaks,
That's an
back in the
oldie.
back in the oldie back in the that had a niche
90s.
following, right? If you like that kind of weird, strange kind of vibe, very artistic, yada yada kind of thing, this is for you. But honestly, as a story, it's just I'm not off it. I'm 5 episodes, but it's only seven, so I'm at the point of return now. I crossed that line now. I might as well just finish it. But it's got some cool stuff, some good visuals. So, like, man, I really wish they would have leaned on their horror, because some of the visuals are really cool. And like, okay, but they just don't. It goes into the weird, and she's throwing. She I'll give you an example. She vomits cats as a payment to the witch, whatever. It's just shit like that. That's like, oh my, okay. And they don't explain why. It's just very awkward. It's very weird. It just doesn't work for me anyway. And it's got a lot of good reviews, which I get because it's very, kind of artistic thing. I get that the folks in Hollywood, the critics will this is kind of their thing. But for the casual audience who reach out to, no, don't watch it. Don't waste your time. Again, if it was some good elements of horror, go for it. But there's not. It just isn't. So that's a big no for me. I know Chewy wasn't going to watch it, and nor is he going to watch it. So agreed there, Chewy. Save yourself a few hours of your life. But the last one, let's go to the last show. And this one was interesting. And that is HBO Max released the third season of Titans. Of course, DC's Titans. The first two seasons were actually on the DC app before it moved over to HBO Max. And the show, which I think you were a bigger fan than I was, of the first two seasons. I thought it was good. It was solid, following, the characters like, Dick Grayson, Robin, of course, one of the Robins from Batman. We have I forgot
Raven,
Raven,
Beast
yeah, Beast
Boy,
Boy,
Nightwing,
Nightwing, etc. Some of that. So, then
a little bit of
they
Batman.
introduced
Yeah.
Batman, or Captain Friendzone from Game of Thrones. He was Batman, Bruce Wayne, particularly more in the second season. But either way, so the third season drops. So I'm looking forward to it. Okay, it's an HBO Max. Maybe they'll put more money into it. And I gotta say, man, I was really surprised at this one. They introduce us to Red Hood, who's gonna be the big villain in this one. For those who are familiar with the comics, he's a big character in the comics. A couple of versions of him, and then what they do is one of the versions from the comic book. So they do stick to that lore. And dude, and they gave us 3 episodes. And I gotta tell you, man, I really like what I saw here. This is probably my favorite 3 episodes of the series, to be honest with you. Great start. And I think because they really focused on Gotham, right? It starts off with situation with the Joker. And, so Dick Grayson goes to Gotham to meet up with Batman. And he decides to stay there to finish the investigation and obviously confronts Red Hood. But just the idea of being in Gotham, it's just better being Gotham than in San Francisco, where the show originally takes. Something about Gotham, some of the villains were there. You got Arkham Asylum, you got Barbara Gordon. So a lot of things that are familiar, a little bit of Batman, of course. Scarecrow. So I don't know what it is. I mean, it's Batman. I love Batman. So when you inject that into the show, it's going to elevate it for me. But dude, this is really good, man. And I'll get to some more details in a second. But Chewy, your thoughts on this?
No, man, I think this is the best start of the 3 seasons yet. I mean, I was a fan of the first 2 seasons. I've been a fan of the show. And first season was a lot of introduction to the Titans universe, these characters and where they were, right? So it wasn't a backstory season. It was kind of place where is Dick Grayson today, right? He was a Robin, now he's kind of doing his own thing. Everyone's kind of split up. There was a Titans before, and then they split up for whatever reason, which they get into more into season 2. So they built the world. They're advancing the story, and so now where they're separate, now they've come back together again, right, in Gotham because of the death of one particular character, or supposed death of one of the characters. But I mean, it's strong, it's dark, it's brutal. I mean, the surprise season episode 3 was just like, I couldn't believe they did it. I just could. I was like, wow. I was like, no, they're gonna, no.
Yeah, I want to spoil it, but it's a situation where, like, we've seen 1,000 times, right? And we know in our head we're thinking, okay, we know these tropes. We know what's gonna happen at the last minute, and it doesn't happen the way we think it happens. And dude, that's ballsy, man. That's some balls in that show, dude. Good for them to do that, where other shows wouldn't even dream of doing that. And I don't want to say too much, but I'll leave it at that. I really don't want to spoil it.
In season 2, we lost one character, but that was at the end of the season. So
they kind of hinted she's still going to be alive.
In the previous seasons, no one really died, right? So it's a little tropey in that sense. Still dark, still kicking ass, but tropey. In season 2, they said, no, we're changing the game, right? So they did kill off one of the Titans, right? Actually, that's not the first one, because in the flashback there was one that did killed off before. So even through flashbacks and some things, you seeing about people that have bbeen killed off, villains, characters, heroes, and whatnot. But now we're right off the bat, and in the first episode, we saw someone bites it.
That's true. Yeah, we got two.
Actually, two
technically speaking.
One off screen, one on screen.
Right.
And then we get to episode 3, and it was like, oh, okay, good. Oh crap, not again. But it's good, man. It took me in. The writing's a little bit better this year. Some of the performances are a little up and down. The Red Hood actor, I mean, he was annoying last season, and maybe once I find out more, I'm having a hard time believing this change, right? And because they haven't explained it, it's like,
I think that they got time to flesh that part out.
I hope they flesh it out, because there was a time jump between the end of season 2 and now, so it's not the next day, it's not the next day. We're talking months later, right? So a lot of stuff has gone on in between the 2 seasons. So maybe they'll flush that out. But I mean, overall, I think it's a strong start. That probably best season thus far, and hopefully it continues on that trajectory. We'll see what
this
the story.
Is a show we'll probably touch back in 3 or 4 weeks. We'll probably circle back on this one just to see again, is the trajectory going the right way, right? Or is it sync? Because it's not how you start, it's how you finish. But man, it's a great story, man. And again, I love a show that takes chances like that, and they give us something, because it adds weight, right, and stakes to the show. Because now you're like, okay, things can happen, right? Now the next time the show is a similar scenario, we're thinking, okay, they're really gonna go through with it or not, and we don't know. So that's great. I love that. So yeah, you're right. And in Beast Boy is getting more something to do, because he's my least favorite character. He still is, but at least he's got more to do anyway.
He does.
Right, which is fine. But again, he's still the least favorite character.
And if you're a dog fan, you gotta love Crypto.
Like best dog Crypto, ever. Yeah, that first scene, a scene with him and Crypto, the super dog in the beginning, was fantastic. So it's a show. Listen to the show. If you haven't seen Titans, which is understandable because it was a show on DC app and like 5 people had it. and another 15 had it because those 5 people had it and they kind of shared passwords. So, it's an HBO Max, all 3 seasons. I recommend it. It starts off a little sluggish, for me anyway, it did. But it does get better season 2, and this one looks like it's really elevated to a different level here. And it's very adult. This is not Teen Titans, right? You Titans, you think Teen Titans, Cyborg and all that, and the animated.
There's no booyah.
This is a really dark, it's got the adult language graphic scene, so they really lean into that. Sometimes maybe overly do it, particularly with the language, but whatever, it's just small nitpicks. But it's good, man. I'm enjoying it. I'm surprised. I didn't expect it to like it this much. I was like, I'll watch 1 episode. I'm like, no, I can't even watch 2. I'm like, I gotta watch 3 now. And I was like, damn, where's that fourth, man? Damn it. I need my hit. The juice.
Now, the good thing, hopefully, Beast Boy actually gets to be more than just one animal. I think in the first episode, that was a big complaint because he was always a tiger.
Yeah. And it seems that's the way they're going to go too. But
and in animated, he changed him any animal. Right now, maybe it's a production thing, maybe it's something else, whatever. But I think in first episode, I think he was having a little discussion about exploring other forms to take. Right. So maybe that happens this season.
Yeah, I guess but he is still the least favorite character. But he is better. He is better for whatever it's worth. I mean, every show needs to have a Jar Jar and Omega, whatever, Screech powers. This is this version of it, right? So it is what it is. So that being said, I think that's it. So that we got 8 shows, again, a mixed bag, but superhero fans, What If, Titans, must watch. Reservation Dogs is actually a good show. So,
Reservation Dogs.
So definitely Stargirl again. I don't see it, but Joe recommends it. I do hear good things about it, so that's my note. You guys can watch on that one. So, but that being said, don't watch Beckett. That's the moral of today's story. But
don't watch The Kingdom.
Don't watch it. The Kingdom, listen, Kingdom's not bad. It's just uninteresting. But if you watch it, fine. I can forgive that. But Beckett, I can't forgive that. It's really bad. It's crap.
Yeah. So, and actually, this is a good week to catch up on these shows because I think this coming week it's very light on the docket. We have 2 movies on Friday. One the one with Jason Momoa, which is Sweet Girl, right? Which after watching Beckett, now I'm concerned.
It's Netflix. This is literally Forrest Gump might just come advertise Netflix films. You never know what you're gonna get, right? It's a box of chocolates. You just
it's like a box of chocolates.
Jenny says watch.
Stupid does. But we get Sweet Girl. We also get the HBO Max movie. Obviously the Reminiscence with Hugh Jackman and Rebecca.
Ferguson.
I can't remember her last name. Yeah, Ferguson, and also the actress from Westworld. Not Tildy. Sorry.
I forgot her name. But either way, it's actually fun. One of the creators of Westworld actually did the film.
Yes, exactly. So we'll see. We'll see if this movie's any good. So that's 2 movies.
It's kind of funny because I heard this from somewhere, but I heard that the who wrote it, I forget, is married to Christopher Nolan's brother.
Oh, okay.
One of the things I first noticed about this movie is like, it has that kind of Nolan vibe to it, for the most part. So
the dream action, the Inception,
exactly, kind of the same kind of look. So that kind of now it makes sense why it would have that kind of feel and look to it. So that doesn't mean it's going to be a Nolan-like film. Let's not take it back. But let's see. I mean, whatever. It's on HBO Max. It's free, so whatever. Yeah, so there's not a whole lot of stuff coming out. Obviously.
Well, we get 2 movies, but there is a show on Hulu dropping. It's called The 9 Perfect Strangers. Yes. So that one drops on Wednesday. I'm not sure if it's the whole season or weekly. But we'll see. That's got the ensemble cast, and we'll see if it's any good. I'm not sure.
But there is one show, The Chair, coming out.
No, that's next week.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. There's 2 weeks. It's kind of a light week.
So this week it's 2 movies on Friday. Yeah. There's 2 shows on Wednesday. One was the Strangers, and there's another show I can't remember. I wrote it down. I have to look it up, but I think it drops on Netflix. I can't remember the name of it.
9 Perfect Strangers on Hulu. That's what it is, I think.
Yeah, that one's on Hulu.
Another one called The Defeated. That's on Netflix.
That's the one. That's the one. That's the German peace show. It's an American show, but it's set in Nazi Germany, I think in 41 or 42 with a bunch of Americans.
Yeah, it's a cop who is investigating something about his brother and goes to Germany and pairs up with a German cop. A young German cop. So doing it behind, obviously in the backdrop of towards the end of World War II anyway. So it's some good stuff. We'll get into all that. So there's stuff to watch. But this is a good time to catch up on some of these shows. And a lot of these shows are going to be weekly shows. Like obviously Reservation Dogs and What If and Titans, those are weekly shows. There's only 1 episode.
Yes.
So it's not a whole lot of TV time being wasted, if you will. So it gives you a chance to catch other things that are not called Beckett. get more to the story here today, guys. So that being said, we ended off there. Of course, as always, check out Nerd's Planning if you want deep dives into all things nerd, into some of these like Titans and all that. My co-host Eric De Silva is a encyclopedia of knowledge when it comes to this stuff. So catch us there. We got my reviews as well, put on a weekly basis. Subscribe, like us, of course, support the Latino community. We appreciate it, and we see you guys next time.